Welcome back to Virtual Reality Game Dev Ed. This is the 13th tutorial video for our friend Sky using MakeHuman in Blender. Alright, and this is what we have so far. We put some different textures on our clothes. We have a nice kind of a black sweater and some jeans. Right. If you look closely, you can see different angles of the thread because of how we angled our UV map differently. Okay, now we're actually going to do something completely different. Before we get into making our own clothes, if you want to pull this into here, anytime you have two panels matched up the same size here, you see this little arrow, we can actually pull this right over that and close that other panel on the side. Okay. We're actually going to do particle hair first of all. We want a really nice render here. We want to make a good image. We're going to talk about the art in Blender first. We'll come back to game hair later, but we definitely need to talk about the art first of all, first and foremost, before anything else. So this program is designed for rendering, so this is where we're going to start. We're going to go ahead and create some good hair, some Blender rendered particle hair, realistic hair for our character. Okay, we want to select our character's mesh first of all. Okay, and then go ahead and jump into edit mode for him. Hit tab on your keyboard to jump into edit mode, and we see his mesh. Now we've got an extremely realistic mesh here. It's absolutely wonderful. It goes right up into the nose. We already saw there's teeth and mouth, eyes, all this incredible stuff. So we want to put some hair on him though, because right now he's bald. That's no good. First thing I'm actually going to do though before I do that is actually angle my head a little bit. Press 3 on your keyboard to come to the side view. I want to angle my head down just a tad. That way he's looking a little bit more at the camera rather than out into space. I'm going to go ahead and render that and see how that looks. I want him to look down just a little bit more. Press 3 on your keyboard to get to the side. Pull his head down just a little bit more. Go ahead and render that image. See how that looks. There we go. Okay. So now that he's looking a bit more forward, let's go ahead and start getting ready and prepare our hair. Now the first thing we need to do to set up hair for our characters is actually create another vertex group for the scalp. This is going to be where the hair is going to be coming out of. Obviously we don't want to just have hair sticking all over his whole body. So we need to create another vertex group and make this vertex group the scalp. So go back into edit mode, press tab on your keyboard. One thing you might notice, when you go into edit mode, you're not going to have the pose. His head went back up. That's fine. That's good to work with. Okay, real quick before I do that though, let me go ahead and move this out of the way for us. Put this over there. Okay. Select your model again, press tab on your keyboard to go back. See, now we're actually editing the mesh itself. The pose is actually something special. Happens later. So, we need to pick some vertices for the scalp. You want to go ahead and come into faces mode real quick. He's a bit dark. It's a little hard for me to see. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a light behind him. That way I can see a little bit better what I'm working with here. There we go. No, just switch back into down here into solid mode. Now we see the mesh exactly right. Alright, now pick the place you want your scalp line to begin and end. For me, I'm going to go ahead and select that for that point, and then wrap right around the ear here. Okay. Let's look where I want. Yeah, that will work, I think. Yeah, I think that'll work okay for me. Now you can hit Control and left click to circle the center points here. Careful not to catch your ear. We don't want hair on our ear. Okay. Looks good. Oop. Control Z. Do want a little bit of a sideburn there. Okay. Looks about right. Okay. That looks about right. Alright. Now what we're going to do is create a quick vertex group for this. This is the scalp here. This is where our hair is going to come out. So come under this mesh object data, and we want to create a new one. Click on this add button right here, and we want to name this scalp. Okay, and then click the assign button, and then come over here and test it by deselecting it and then reselecting it. Make sure only your scalp is coming up. Wonderful. Alright. So, while your scalp, well, I don't think it'll matter at this point. I think immediately it will probably put it on the whole body. Right here, this is particles. We want to click on this little option, and first thing we see is it's empty. We have no particles in our scene right now, so of course it's going to be empty. Go ahead and click the plus button, and that will add a particle system. Okay, now we want to say what type of, we're going to name this hair first of all. Now we want to say what type of particle. Right here under type, we're going to see two types, hair and emitter. Now let me explain these real quick. Emitter is, well, let me explain what a particle system is to begin with. Say you wanted to create fire. Fire is a particle system. Say you wanted bubbles floating up from the ground or in the middle of water and whatnot. That's a particle system too. That generates an object at random points in space and lets them flow a certain direction or a certain way depending on how you program it. So things like grass and hair specifically, we use the hair particle emitter, and that allows us to create strand particles rather than just having random particles, you know, floating around in space here. These things will actually be chained and linked to each other, so we can create hair or realistic grass depending on what you're working on. Pretty much you use the hair particle type emitter for hair obviously and grass. That's about it. You can do some other things with it, but hair is obviously what it's designed for, so and that happens to be exactly what we are making. So first thing we want to do is set a parent. We have, well, I'm out of time for this video already, so I'll go ahead and stop right here real quick, and we will come back to creating particle hair. Okay, I will see you all again soon.